So later we'll talk about our boot camps, so what each one is in more detail. Now I will not take long and let Dr. Gerant start it. I will introduce him briefly. He's co-founder of Magnimind Academy, as well as his faculty in San Jose State University. Prior to that, he was faculty in Santa Clara University and KAIST University in Korea. He's been doing AI medicine research at Stanford the last so many years. He's growing computational and data science in the last 15 to 20 years. Is one of the best person that you can learn data science from. So Dr. Jaran, you can continue. You're ready.
Thank you, Dr. Badai. Dr. Badai is a scientist at Stanford. His resume is very long. He made the journey through the best schools in the United States, actually, and then he ended up at Stanford now. And he's the founder of Magnimind. He was my boss at Magnimind. And thank you for the introduction, Dr. Badai. So let us get started with again. Today, I know our audience today is, I'm assuming that we are not totally new into data science because you guys are interested in a mentorship program. So today's topic is we want to give some information about our mentorship program or internship program. But even though my assumption is that we are not new into the area, let us just have an overview of the data science area. What is the salary? What are the expectations of different companies in terms of skill sets? Just a couple of, again, I made this presentation 2 weeks ago, a couple of snapshots from some job postings, see what people are looking for. And we're gonna run a poll before we start the second part of our presentation, just to have an idea, a feeling about the audience in terms of, again, when we answer the poll questions, we're gonna have some idea about where we are in terms of getting prepared for data science positions. Let me you guys are seeing the presentation mode, or I'm not sure which one you are seeing now.
It's more presentation mode. Maybe you just share the screen
now.
Yeah.
Now okay. All right. So again, assuming that you guys are already not totally new into data science or components of data, being a data science, the different areas of data science, let's just remind ourselves what makes a person a data scientist. It's not just about one area, so we need to know coding, we need to know about data structures, even though in really big companies for data scientist positions, they're not going to ask you, like Google is not going to ask you if you're applying for a data scientist position, it's not going to ask you any data structures, but if you apply for machine learning engineer positions, they're going to ask you those questions. A data scientist is going to be extremely comfortable with basic statistics, basic linear algebra, and of course, machine learning algorithms, and foundations of probability theory. Again, it's definitely a must if you guys, if you are looking for a data scientist position. And on top of that, we need to be very comfortable with communicating what we find or what we found, right, after we run all these models. So data communication, verbally or visually, we should be very comfortable with communicating our findings to, say, a non-technical audience. Again, another distribution of different areas, what makes a data scientist. So a little bit of data engineering for collecting data, merging data, manipulating data, a little bit of, let me not use a little bit of, so a good knowledge of data visualization, and then all these algorithms, and let us also consider statistics and probability under machine learning. And then I think the one that I didn't mention earlier is the business context. So whatever the area we're working on, it can be an application of AI on healthcare, it can be retail, it can be manufacturing. Whatever the area we are working on, we need to know about the business. Otherwise, we are not. So that's why they are going to ask you all these case studies when you apply for data scientist positions at really large companies. They are going to ask you detailed case study questions. And without knowing the context, it's going to be very, very difficult to come up with a really intelligent answer for those questions. Okay, so I got these numbers from different resources. What is the average base salary compensation? This is mostly based on 50,000 data science salaries, it says, but mostly the numbers are coming from United States. The average base salary is around 122, with compensations like adding 401k and annual bonuses. This number jumps to $178,000. So this is the average data science. And then if you ask me what is the definition of data science in this context, whatever people, if people just define themselves as data scientists, so people doing data analysis may also define themselves data scientists. But I think this number gives us a very good starting point. So the average salary expectation is going to be around 122K. Again, these numbers will change from city to city. I'm going to give you those numbers too. And how data scientists' salaries changed over the years. So as we, the hype around data science, I think, as we know today, started around 2017, 18, and we started to see this increase in the data scientist salaries. So over the years, data scientist salary, the mid salary or total compensation is actually increasing. So this year or beginning from last year, we have some concern in the market, right? So some layoffs happened. There is this, nervousness among people, but the startup companies and then retail companies are still hiring data scientists. Some companies, big companies, froze hiring, but I think they are going to also begin hiring. So during the pandemic, I think they hired more than they needed, so they made an adjustment. And after this adjustment, it's going to, I'm hoping that it's going to go back to normal. So again, depending on what job you're doing, if you compare data scientist positions with similar positions like data scientist versus machine learning engineer, as you see, machine learning engineers are getting the better salary than some data scientists. But if you look at the positions related to data science, like business analyst or data analyst, I think data scientist is maintaining a respectable position, right, in terms of total salary. Again, data science related roles, how the salaries are changing over the years. So all these roles are actually highly correlated with each other, right? So the trend is increasing. So there's an increasing trend, but the slope is not so high, right? Okay, so how about a starting data scientist position versus a more senior? As you see, as you become more senior, climb up the ladders for becoming a manager, you're gonna see a significant jump in your salaries. So what makes you? So of course the expectations from you as you become more senior will change, right? So if you are, say, 6+ years of relevant experience, so your experience may not be relevant to a specific area, then you're not going to be a senior data scientist in that area, even though you might have 6 years plus of experience as data scientist. So I just wanted to point out, again, salary expectations depending on where you live. So of course, San Francisco is too expensive, Bay Area is too expensive, so you might expect the highest salary in San Francisco. So I also put some information on different countries. Europe. So again, you see US salaries are better than maybe salaries in Europe as data scientists, but the overall, the average is not too different between United States and Europe. So surprisingly, the companies which are paying the top salaries are not Google, Apple, or Meta. So Netflix has been for a long time the king of the salary in terms of paying data scientist salary. So there are some companies which are paying much better than those big companies. So I put the top paying companies on the left-hand side, and I also selected some mid-range companies just to let you know what kind of an expectation you might have. Let's say you are applying to Walmart or I don't know. There are some companies that I really don't know. So the expectation is again between 120 to 140K. Okay, so in terms of interviews, again, if you took interviews before, companies are going to provide you for example, Google is going to provide you detailed information about what you might expect to see in the interview. Okay, so when you get the interview, you will receive that information. But in terms of distribution of the topics, when you take the interview for a data scientist position, okay, so Google is expecting you become really, really proficient in statistics and foundations of probability. So as far as I know, Google may not be asking too many SQL questions. They're going to be asking you programming. And then again, this is not data structures, and it's not the programming coding questions as much as they might expect from a machine learning engineer. So enough for you to handle data, maybe write a couple of functions or solve some statistics problems, right? But I just put in here the expectation from a Google machine learning engineer. As you see, they're expecting more from you to know about machine learning algorithms. Maybe they might ask you to write code for a specific machine learning algorithm from scratch. So they want you to know about machine learning and coding the data structures and algorithms, and of course, be very good at Python, right? If you are using Python. So Amazon interview, I know from Amazon, they are going to ask you, definitely ask you, in addition to probability questions, they're going to ask you SQL questions. So with Google, as far as I know, if they have not changed recently, they're not asking SQL questions. So they're going to ask you SQL questions, some questions on machine learning. For Google, Amazon, I don't think they're going to ask you too detailed advanced machine learning algorithms. They want you to become extremely comfortable with linear regression, logistic regression, how you interpret the coefficients, this and that. So I put, again, some other companies here just for comparison. Apple is more or less capturing the average distribution of topics when they ask about, again, you need to know statistics and machine learning, Python, and SQL. So I included Walmart as another case. I know Walmart is asking SQL for sure. And some other sectors like banking sector. So depending on which sector you're applying to, for example, in an interview with the banking sector, even for screening purposes, they might ask you specifically about, have you ever done any fraud detection, created any fraud detection problem, or have you ever worked on fraud detection? Again, depending on why they are hiring, but I would expect such a question if I am going to have an interview from a bank. Okay, so these are some of the job postings. I got them 2 weeks ago, not yesterday or 2 weeks ago. But again, this is from Apple. It's decision scientist. It's not data scientist, but I think this is somebody who's going to be a data scientist, which is creating some input for decision-making process. So they want you to be extremely fluent in, let me not use extremely, fluency in SQL. Why am I using extremely, right? And then the proficiency in Python, as we expected, right? So you need to know Python and SQL. Let me tell you, if you know Python and SQL, I think you can find a decent job with only those two skills. So this is a job posting from Walmart for data science position. So they have more like what is it? Detailed descriptions. So if you don't have a PhD, don't worry. So they say, oh, if you have master's degree plus some work experience. If you don't have any of these two, again, if you have some, so they are using substitute, your experience as a substitute for PhD or master's degrees. Again, they're asking for SQL. They are, in this case, they are asking for NLP and then some deep learning models. So there is some, understanding among people that when I talk with students and people in the market, that some people say, oh, you don't need to know deep learning, so it is only for research positions. That is right. So most of the research-related positions require you know deep learning. But as you see, some of these companies are actually keeping the the definition of skill sets a little bit larger, right? So here they're asking for TensorFlow, and it's not or and PyTorch. I don't know. It's a little bit too much to expect from someone to know both PyTorch and TensorFlow, right? Okay, let's continue. So these are some other postings I saw. Again, I know HP, but I don't know the other two. But again, one of the things is critical thinking. All these companies that you are applying to, if they are really big companies, that is the number one thing that they are going to check. So whether you have problem-solving skills. So you might be lacking some coding skills, but you need to have problem-solving skills. And as you see, again, good knowledge of SQL and Python. Again, if you know R, that is fine. And then strong math, these guys are asking. So another data scientist position, what is it? Again, R and SQL. So they're asking for that. HP is, what is that? Fluent in structured and data transformation methodology. So you need to know how to transform data. So they are asking for some degree requirements. Again, these companies are relaxing those requirements if you have some experience. All right. So then the next question is, if I am into this area, if I want to learn more about data science, what should I do? Should I get a master's degree, or should I just take some course from a boot camp, or should I simply study myself, right? So again, all the material you need to learn to become a data scientist is in abundance available on the internet. Okay, you don't need to go to any university, you don't need to go to any boot camp, you don't need to purchase any textbook. The whole material, as all we know, right? So as we all know, is available on the internet. The question is how to pick those material. Second is how we are going to be following or how we are going to be on track when it comes to actually learning those materials, right? So those are the two problems I see with all of us. So if you want to go to a boot camp, it's going to be less costly with respect to master's program. Well, if you go to a master's program, in the long term, it might be more beneficial. You're going to have an accredited diploma from some institution, right? But if you want to start right away and then finish off in a short time and then get into job market, so bootcamp may be helpful for you, unless but the condition is you have to apply yourself. So boot camps like 25 weeks long, 15 weeks long. So much of material is pumped onto you, and then after a couple of months, the boot camp is over. You may not remember any of that. If you have not applied that knowledge on projects. So that is the missing component, applying what you learned on projects. Okay, so again, boot camps are great if we have a short-term goal, get into job market quickly and then get the job we are looking for, and then learning the skill sets that are required in a short amount of time. So let me check if we have some. Just 1 second, I see. Yeah, so this presentation by mail, let me ask my friends from Magnimind. Okay, sorry about if they say yes, we can send this presentation by mail, but I think the presentation is going to be available. The recording is going to be available for data scientists in healthcare. So Ashutosh, you are asking that question. So healthcare is a large area. So if you are going to be working on tabular data sets, right? For example, you are working on clinical data sets, and then those are tabular data sets, and then you are developing machine learning models for predicting a certain disease given a tabular data set. I think it's going to be enough if you know basic machine learning models like XGBoost or random forest classifier is going to be enough for you. Of course, you have to know your way to manipulate data sets. Maybe these are your audience this time is medical field. A lot of visualization is required, right? But if you are working on medical images, right, so then you need to know more about image processing, a lot about image processing, actually. CV2 is going to be your best friend. And also you need to know deep learning, right? You need to know deep learning. So, just machine learning may not be so helpful, right? So depending on what area you are targeting. So there are so many different areas. For example, there are areas in healthcare where you can use machine learning to create or statistics I mean, to create models which are going to match patients with clinical trials, right? So depending on what application you want to use on healthcare, your skill sets might differ. I didn't give a very maybe good concise answer, but again, it depends. That is the best answer. So let's wrap it up. The skills that are required to make this transition into really to a data scientist, you're welcome, data scientist position. We need to have programming for sure. You need to know how to code. SQL is for you to have SQL in your pocket. Okay, that's for sure. And then we need to know about machine learning. So without machine learning, so I would consider NumPy, Pandas as part of learning programming or Python. And then my one suggestion at this point, let me make is if you are working on SQL, writing SQL queries, please make sure that you solve the same problem using both SQL and Pandas. Okay, that's gonna be very helpful. Okay, do that. And then maybe if you're applying to machine learning engineering positions, of course, you need to know algorithms and data structures. Some companies, even though they call it data scientists, they might ask you to know data structures and algorithms. But most of the companies, if you're applying for a strictly data scientist position, they're not going to expect from you to know about data structures. Okay, so a couple of things, maybe if you allow me to make suggestions. So this is a long journey. It is not so easy. I mean, even if you are not new into the area, you know, right? There is so much to learn, and every day some new thing is emerging. If you're following Twitter accounts of these big guys, right, in data science or AI, so every day some new thing is emerging. So this is a big field. It's a long journey. But if you are at the beginning of the journey, my suggestion is please pick one programming language. All right. Do not try to learn Python and R together. Pick one of them, learn one of them really well, and then switch to the next one. It's going to be much easier, much better for you. And then be clear about your motivations. Why you want to really, do you really want to be a data scientist? Do you really want to make this transition or advance in this field? Because it is not that easy as it sounds. Okay, so you have to spend some time and effort, and it's an unending effort actually. You have to learn every day. Another thing I see very common, okay, is being stuck in the tutorial carousel, right? So there is, again, I'm repeating, there is so much material available. I see that a student is starting learning one topic from one instructor without finishing that one, jumping to another one, and then actually making a circle around tutorials, not actually having the hands dirty and then actually doing the job, right? So a lot of people are simply getting stuck in that carousel. So again, related to this previous one, so much material available. Please pick a small set of resources and finish them. So every day you will see from Twitter, some guys posting a nice, tutorial on some topic. Another guy is listing all the free resources available there is so much available. Pick a small set, be consistent, and finish them. So please get support from a community. So it can be a group of friends, it can be a boot camp, it can be a master's program. Without support from a community, it's going to be very, very difficult to stay on the track, okay? And if you can find a mentor, someone who is experienced, who already is in the market, or who had some experience with the market, who knows what it means to develop a model, deploy a model. So find a mentor who is going to help you, and if you are stuck, who's going to help you to solve your problems. Okay? And then please keep in mind, it's not an easy journey. You need to sacrifice some weekends and weeknights to learn, and all of us. So even again, if you are working in the market, still you need to sacrifice your weekends, weeknights if you want to learn new stuff. So before I finish my part, and I'll be here if any questions. This is actually how many weeks? Last month I created this. I updated this figure. So this figure is if you guys learned about machine learning, you know Andrew Ng's machine learning course, right? So he taught it in Octave, I think, in MATLAB first, and then he released a second version with Python, if I'm not wrong. So I got this from his very old lectures at YouTube, and these numbers on the x-axis is showing the lecture numbers, so like 1.1, 1.2, 1.5, and the second chapter and third chapter. Y-axis is showing number of viewers. I find this interesting because this is reflecting what I observe with students. So students start with a really great enthusiasm. And as you see, 1.7 million watched the first lectures. And then as we advance, the number of viewers drops sharply. And you will see the same trend as we advance more into topics like fourth chapter, fifth. You might see at fourth, fifth chapter a slight increase from time to time. That is due to some people might be only interested in learning support vector machines. Some people might only be interested in learning, say, random forest. So there are some jumps, but even within the chapters, like for example, random forest, the first lecture and then second to third lecture, there is a decreasing trend. So this tells me that we are not really motivated to start and finish a course, a series of lectures. So that is one of the biggest problems I see. So that's why I recommend, humbly recommend being a part of a community, maybe come together a couple of people, which we are going to motivate each other. So some recommendations, again, for books. I think this book is, if you are new into Python, or if you think you know Python, I think you should still go back and then just scan this book really well. So I find this book extremely useful. And then this book, Hands-on Machine Learning with Scikit-learn. I mean, the explanations in this book is, wonderful. So I like reading this book. Again, personally, I like reading this book. Python Machine Learning, Rajka's book is, I like the way he is giving me the algorithms from scratch using Python. I really like the way he presents the material. And if you are very new into area, this is a very easy book to read. So Andrea Müller is one of the developers of Scikit-learn. So you will find most of the book actually freely available as tutorials or descriptions of Scikit-learn classes and libraries if you go to sklearn website. So, and then I forgot to put one additional book in here. It's a statistics book. I forgot to put it in here. Hopefully next time I'll update it. So there is one book that I find it's a yellow covered book. I forgot the full name of the book, but it is written with R. It is written with R, not Python. But if you want to really learn basics of statistics and linear regression, that is the book I would recommend, but I forgot to put that book in here. Okay, so before we start with the next session, let's see if okay. Non-developers ever take your courses? I'm curious how deep we go in machine learning. So, Eric, I just really fast read your question really fast. So, if you are just starting, if you don't have a really strong programming background, you can start. You can start learning data science, definitely. Very beginner level knowledge of Python is going to help you understand the topics that we cover following Python. Actually, we start in our full stack program, we start with introducing Python first, heavily, and then we begin to talk about statistics, and then machine learning and SQL. So that is the order of topics that we teach, we deliver. Yeah, you can definitely start learning, but again, your expectations should be very realistic. You should have very realistic expectations. If you are a total beginner, in 16 weeks, in 17 weeks of time, you're going to get a very good coverage of the basics, but you need to do projects. You need to work on projects. So that's why actually we are having this gathering today. You need to work on real projects. So yeah, most of the boot camps, including Magnimind, right? We are providing projects when we teach in the full stack program. So you're going to have, in our case, 3 projects. We call them capstone projects, which we will help you along the way. But for a beginner, I would suggest work on more projects, and then maybe with someone who's going to help you, line by line read your code, and then help you, guide you as you work on the projects. So let me try to run, let me stop sharing the screen at this point. And Dr. Badai, I'm going to run the poll. Maybe depending on the answers to the poll. So the second part of the presentation, maybe we can touch upon the poll results. So this is the first time I'm going to run poll in this kind of a webinar. So please bear with me if it doesn't work. Okay. All right, let me run the poll, and then I appreciate if you guys give me your feedback. Okay, so I just ran the poll. If you could please try to answer to the question. So have you ever completed an online course at YouTube from beginning to end? You know what, remember that I mentioned Andrew Ng's course? I'm just curious, have you ever completed an online course from beginning to end? The second question is, have you ever completed an online bootcamp? I'm just curious. So what is the breakdown of the audience in terms of completing on? If you guys please, I appreciate if you guys give answer so we can know about each other. We can have some idea about what is happening out there, okay? So how many projects have you completed so far in terms of machine learning, data science? So just to have some idea about where we are standing with respect to others. So do you have a GitHub account? Okay, so this is a very good reflection of how much work you put into your projects. Okay, so another thing, has anyone given you ever any line-by-line feedback on your code? Or you are totally alone in your code development, okay? And what is the biggest obstacle that you see in front of you, okay, as a data science enthusiast, okay, as an enthusiastic data science learner? So learning the material or finding a challenging project for you, having someone to mentor you, or finding an internship. So let's wait for a while and then see how the results are going to come.
Does everyone see the results or just we see?
So do you guys see? I think after we end the poll, the results are going to be revealed. You're welcome, Eric. You're welcome. Yeah, Ashutosh, maybe the part-time job part, maybe we can answer that question after the poll. I think, yeah, I think we got the answers. So, Dr. Badai, do you think it's enough? I should end the poll.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I think
I'm gonna
some
click
people answering it.
I hope everybody will see the result. Let's see. I hope the result will not get lost. Okay.
Oh,
okay. I'm sharing
thing.
the results. Yeah, I'm sharing the results with you. Okay, with everyone. Okay, you can see the results, right?
I can see the results.
Yeah. Dr. Badai, maybe you can go over the poll from this point on.
Sure. Thank you. And okay. So you did, you shared the results, is it?
Yes, you can see the results, right?
Okay. So the first question is, have you completed online course at YouTube? Which is 33% people said yes. It's actually a good number when I complete.
Yeah, I mean, the question is beginning to end. That's a good result actually.
Yep. And have you ever completed online bootcamp, which is 29% said yes. This is also a good number. How many projects you completed? There's 20% said 5+ projects, and 10% said two projects. So actually, a lot of people, like 66% of people, did or 1 or 2 projects, which is not a lot. So, which I will talk about projects. I know some of yours actually resume CVs. I review many of people's resumes. And I can see those projects are not represented there well, okay? And people don't really talk about what they do it well, they don't present it well. So the recruiters doesn't recognize what you do well. So even though you do project, you don't reflect on your resume. So I've seen in many people's CVs. So GitHub account, which is really good, 81%. Even when I review GitHub accounts, a lot of case, like projects is also reflected there if it's not reflected well. So some people give really like a random names for the projects. So recruiters, when they are not gonna go and deep dive on your GitHub account, they wanna see what projects you have done there, a lot of things. Maybe very later stage, people may review your GitHub account, but early stage, they wanna look at titles and an organization. And feedback is really important, as Dr. Geran said, is 76% of people never get enough feedback, which is really important. I think that's why that mentorship is really important in this case.
Yeah.
And biggest obstacle, this is a really good question. And many people finding a hard internship is really hard. That's what I agree. And having someone mentor you, 43%, they couldn't find it. Finding a challenging project. So
I think
so really, it just
76%
most of time goes related to what we are offering today. We're talking on today about mentorship program. And very few people have learning material. Although I can tell you that there are a lot of learning material out there, and so many people getting lost in where to learn, what to learn with. So you may go take a class from university, classes from edX, like Stanford, Harvard, MIT class, but those things are really sometimes become too academic, you don't get hands-on experience. Even sometimes you just get lost in really hardcore math, for example, or stats or driving things. It's just people getting lost in material too. So overall, there's a lot of challenges, I can say. So now I will stop sharing. I hope everyone get the response. And you may see that many of you have similar problems. You are not the only one, which is a good part. So that will really help you and us understand the common problems that everyone has. So I will look at those questions later. So I will talk about Magnimind programs here. I briefly mentioned about myself, as Dr. Geran mentioned. I'm Stanford scientist and serial entrepreneur. I've been here 9 years. Prior to that, I was a biophysicist, and then I was a physicist before. I did particle physics, I did imaging and DNA technologies, and here I work a lot of diagnostics and AI in healthcare projects. And all of that, I use a lot of data science and all this different programming. So when we come back to Eric, I think, asked that questions. Even the people who doesn't want to be a data scientist, should they learn data science? I will definitely say yes. If you remember years back, President Obama was saying that everyone should learn one programming language. So I also do it further that everyone should know about AI and data science, because the technology is just dramatically changing, and there's AI isn't everywhere, and it will be everywhere, because now we're going to data-driven world, and the jobs will be changed. There's switch. Like I always give this example: 10 years, 20 years back, you wouldn't see any like a Google, Apple, Facebook, Amazon. Now Google maybe have 100 to 200,000 employees. Facebook maybe around 50 to 100,000 employees. Because those new companies produce new jobs. And that was more IT software engineer related jobs. Now we are going into more data-driven world, AI-driven world. There'll be more AI jobs will be available. So there is like recent, some people estimated, reported One previous report by McKinsey was saying that there are 50 million jobs, AI jobs, data scientist jobs will be open in the next 30 years. But another one was saying that, that increased the number to 300 million. But when you see all these companies, new companies like Amazon, Google, Facebook, there will be new companies who will be there, and there will be a lot related to AI. Yes, AI taking the jobs of some people, but it creates new jobs. So that's where you are here, starting data science, focusing on data science is a good start. So coming back to our programs, and we had reviewed those polls, we see those common problems. So in Magnimind Academy, years back, we started with our colleagues, co-founders from Stanford and Silicon Valley. We saw that some really need there is not answered by other bootcamps. So we reviewed, when we started, we reviewed all the master's program universities offer. I should say top master's program universities offer. And now we look at other bootcamps too. We try to address the needs and missing points that people are struggling. So one of the difficult one is the mentorship. And we call it also project experience. So that's really difficult. Like I was approached by 2 students, and this past week, for example, they're master's students in, one is in University of Washington, Seattle, the other is in Wisconsin. They're data science and computer science master's students. And this University of Seattle is in top 10, Wisconsin, Madison is top 20, and they couldn't find the internship. So internships are really rare because the big companies don't have internship positions, because dealing with interns is costly. It's just, yes, you screen people, but at the same time, you work with people that they don't give you really long-term, you know, like they don't add much to the company, because it's just 3 to 6 months, or depends on, most of them are 3 months. So that's why they open really a few internship positions, and so many small companies. Sorry. Okay. Just hold on. Okay. So much small companies, they don't want to also deal with interns, because we experienced it. That's a challenge to find internship. So a lot of jobs requires the people, when they hire it, they want you to do projects. So it's really a luxury for a company. They hire a data scientist, so they're gonna pay 200 to 300 range. That's including all the benefits, I should say. The real high salary, and then they expect that you get, so they wouldn't expect you to train you more, because data science is so new, they won't have anyone to train you to. So that's why people expect that you have a good understanding, good project experience. When they give you the data, you know what you should do. So that's why those project experience is really important. So once you get the data in your hand, once they give you all the resources, available resources, they will expect that in 1, 2, or 3 months, you bring them something. So that's what you should understand, what the company's motivation, because I have startup companies. When I hire people, I see, I also look at that perspective. So when you hire data scientists, you're not going to go hire another developer, another one to help those data scientists. So this project experience, which may take a while to get a good grasp of full pipeline, doing full pipeline project, although it may look hard, but it is really, it just requires a time that you should spend, effort that you should work on. So I will share our screen, which is showing how we handle that. So let's go to presentation. Okay. think this is the right presentation. Let me see. Okay, so we have actually two programs in Magnimind Academy. One is mentorship, one is full stack. I tell you the difference. By the way, if you have any questions, please ask also from Q&A sessions that we can easily manage with the Q&A. Chat will be fine too, but Q&A will be better. So full stack data science, we start with the beginner to intermediate people, and the mentorship, more intermediate to advanced level people. So for when you come to mentorship, we expect that you have some studying, understanding of machine learning, data science, Python. You have all these things you've studied from different sources. Maybe you take classes. We get people to mentorship that people has taken like a master's program. People come to our mentorship from other boot camps. So because our mentorship is not only mentorship, it's just a lot project-based training. So we have internship part. So internship parts are, internship parts are with the companies that we're affiliated, okay? So there are several companies in Silicon Valley we work with, and then also we have some projects with the Stanford or Stanford Plus companies, and we assign our mentors to some companies, they do projects together. So it's a job experience. So I will start with the explaining mentorship program. So mentorship program, we have 15 weeks. For 6 weeks, you have several projects training. These are sample projects training. They're also real projects, but a lot of small projects you will do, some related to machine learning, some related to deep learning, NLP, all different. We have like 3 different levels, categories of this one. And then we take the person we assign that person to project leads in the companies, sometimes product managers, sometimes project manager. You are hired as like an employee of the company, but more internship. You're given a project. In most cases, you're building something from scratch. And you work with the raw data, you work with the real data, and you build something for these companies. And then it will go for 9 weeks. And then for every week, you will meet with your product manager, and you'll get a Magnimind support. Whenever you need difficulty, you have hardship in your project, you'll give technical support. So this way, we help you to build that experience, and this is real experience in like a real industry experience. Means that a lot of our like students have really like struggled through that projects. While you struggle, you learn it. So during this time, like you build projects, you're well trained already. So we really, when we accept students to 7-week to projects, we also screen it before we pass them to project to the companies, because we make sure that they can do things. Okay? So otherwise, it's not good for us, for companies to work on a project, go through another training. So we expect that students are already ready to write programs, to work on projects, and then they will have this experience. So many of people that we work with now in some of those mentorships or internships, they're really good. They train themselves well. They have a good resume. They just have a project. You know, they're lacking project experience, and they're lacking to also the project experience too. It is important for 2 reasons. One, recruiters look for project experience, because if you have done, as I explained earlier, if you've done the project, you can do the job. Second is really important. Because when you go to job, you want to be able to do it too. Again, like you struggle with us here, building things, rather than you struggle with the company by yourself. You work with maybe 10 software engineers, several product managers in the companies, but you don't know how to do it. So you would struggle here rather than you work and struggle in a company. And you don't want to have really unpleasant situation while you get the actual job. So that really helps a lot to have this experience. And then throughout this program, we have resume coaching and mentors that you work with throughout the project phase. They will have your interview preparation as well. So we give out questions to our students every week, and then we expect next week's we actually examine them how much they know about those questions. Like every week we make a short interview. So this prepares people well for interviews as well. We have different standalone interview Q&A sessions, like a full interview sessions. We also help students to write blogs and articles to improve their presence, so that like if we write articles and we actually read those articles, we post in our blogs so that you get more presence. So Magnimind community has more than 50,000 members. Not on the meetups we have other platforms, we have email lists. We just present whatever you write, technical articles, blogs, to more than 50,000 people. That increase your presence too. So in this way, we try to do everything to prepare you for the job trial. And yeah, this is the summary of the mentorship. And then later you'll have a good, you'll be very relaxed to have an interview. You'll be relaxed that you can do the projects by yourself, because we really let you struggle, work on it, show a lot of effort during the projects, and you build something. You can tell a good story when you get. And that will be a job experience. Let me look at questions in the meantime. Okay. With this question's answered, let me look at the chat. I thought I saw some questions, but somehow it's been answered. Okay.
I just typed the answer. So if you could look at answered part, open, not open, but answered part, the questions, and then you can.
Oh, you answered by, okay, right, okay. Yeah, this is, those are not paid positions, and it doesn't have any work-related problems there. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to be in US for that as well. Distributed machine learning. So we do machine learning, and we in most of our projects, we carry those to cloud systems. So either AWS or Azure. So you need to have some kind of a cloud experience, and so many of the projects require you to learn those as well. Because when you go at most jobs, they give you data, and then maybe the data is online in some cloud, and you're better to know how to work with those cloud systems. So that's why the machine learning, distributed machine learning, all that you may be able to learn in some of those projects. And also, we try to assign students to projects relevant to what they're interested in and what their background is. So we do interviews and all that to match that.
Ashutosh has a question. Are part-time positions available for data scientists?
The part-time position available in data scientists, I see those the time to time part-times comes available, but many times the companies, they're really well paid. They want to have full committed people. That's really an unfortunate thing. But the only part-time you can get it if you do position yourself really well you can advertise yourself as a good consultant. Then you can get a project-based, jobs. And you get consultant jobs, and you can make your rates higher than regular too. I believe this is more available than just regular part-time. You can just do the simple searching like a LinkedIn. You will see that you don't see much part-time data science jobs there. For that, GitHub projects. There's many times you cannot share the GitHub script that you're working on. That's the case, and that's also the case for our projects as well. Depends on companies. Like, especially at some of these companies, really IP sensitive. So it won't be easy to share with them. But our use case studies with like first 6 weeks of projects, most of our project people can share this in GitHub. But the actual project phase and main project phase actually depends on the company, depends on that permissions you may or may not able to share in GitHub. But we try to give more chances for you to have some GitHub share. But like first 6 weeks, isn't that Dr. Jiran? They will have a lot of materials to share it.
Yes, for some of those projects, we may even ask you not to share the data, just the code. So you can share the code, but not the data.
Yeah, exactly. Like sometimes like when I actually train those 9 weeks, depends on the really people you work with. I try to come up with solution for that. So maybe not the company's data, I give you some sample data, but what you did in company, you can use that model and you can share in GitHub, show your competency building that model. So things you can work around to put what to put in GitHub. But again, like more than GitHub, I should say that when I look at CVs and resumes, a lot of people even fail in presenting themselves on the CVs. They don't really put really important parts of their work they did on CVs. Sometimes they don't even, it doesn't occur to them. So, and then good title for what you have done, how you present it, how you put title, how you put keywords that those recruiters can get it better information about your skill set. So, I mean, this is the chart of what mentorship programs offer. And I will talk briefly about, I will see if anything is missing. I'll talk briefly about full stack program. If you're not really that comfortable about machine learning or Python, that's why we have this full stack. It is a more lecture-based, instruction-based. We have projects there as well to get you comfortable with data science. There's a lot of hands-on, there's class structure with TAs and with 15 weeks. So to get you on track. For full stack, let's say you take the program, ideally, there's also projects. You take one full project and you can just continue working on by yourself. Like you can build more on project. So the 2 people raise hands. Maybe I can just allow them to ask questions. Hello, Kiran. Do you have a question to ask? Okay, maybe by accident you had. Maybe Michael raised hand. You can type your questions too. Okay, Jonathan, you may ask your questions, or if you raise your hands, I can let you ask. Okay, I let actually 2 people in to speak. If you have any question, you can ask. Okay, hello? Jonathan. Okay, go ahead.
Hello?
Hello?
Hi there. The question is,
we don't hear you. I guess you're cutting. The internet is not good.
Yeah.
Can you type your questions? We don't hear it.
Thank you.
So, yeah, please type. So, okay, next is Jonathan or Kiran, do you have a question? Or Jonathan, maybe okay.
Hello.
Yes.
I have yeah, you know what is what question?
Yes.
Okay. So when I what is word when I
Sorry, my English not good.
Maybe you type your questions. Is that okay? Yeah. Please type your questions. So I won't actually, yeah. Yeah, please ask your questions and type it. Let's see if in Q&A. Okay, I will talk about payment plans. And payment plans for the full stack, there is a straight just 2,500, just one-time payment. And for the mentorship, there's 3 options: 6,000 upfront payment, or $8,000, $1,000 each for 8 months, or income share agreement. For income share agreement, you pay $8K when you find a job, but you pay $1K upfront, $1,000 upfront, and you pay $1,000 monthly payments. So there is those different payment schedules, and to kind of give you more options for people for that, so they can take the program. Dr. Jiran, were you saying something?
No, I was going to say, Albert has a question about payment plans, so you just answered the question. Thank you.
Okay, good. Yeah, I answered those payment questions. Do you want to add anything else, Dr. Jiran, to what I asked? So industry, I will ask Swapnil's questions, and actually I had a meeting with Swapnil on Monday to we can discuss more.
Question about the industry, what industry the companies are. Yeah.
So we have mainly 3 industries. We have healthcare, AI in finance, and AI in marketing related projects, and that / maybe social media. So we have 3 main categories. We have time to time small projects, depends on the company and project. It's really diverse, but the 3 main industries. Yeah. Do you want to add more things, Dr. Jiran, to overall top our programs? Or?
No, thank you. I just would like to thank everyone who participated today. Yeah,
okay, great. And there's more questions come. Okay. Yeah, we increased the options with the cost with the options because like we take more risk as a program when we delay the payment. So that's why $6,000 upfront, $8,000 monthly installment, and $10,000 when you get the job option. And so we have we post this in a YouTube. So again, I talk about the industries, and depends on some situations. We don't really reflect the companies till we work with. And so a lot of Silicon Valley based companies, especially from industries, from healthcare to finance to marketing to social media. And most our projects are related to a lot of machine learning models development and deep learning. And we do a lot of image-based like AI models and text-based AI models most projects are related to. When you search also job like advertisement, you will see a lot of those people are requesting a lot of image analysis, a lot of NLP analysis. People are seeking in these areas. So yeah, if you have any more questions, you can send us an email. So I can see if there is, yeah, you can send us an email. We will share this same presentation, our YouTube channel. You can go look at Magnimind YouTube channel. We'll have those shared there. And our emails are been shared as well there. There is actually more questions coming in. I briefly answer a few more and then we close. So can an applicant combine both options or the sessions? Yes, the both options are available. In fact, is there a combine options? Do you know, Dr. Chira?
So what we do is, Mary, if you start with the mentorship program, as part of the mentorship program, we are going to open the recordings of our full stack program to you. So you can watch the recordings of our previous full stack program sessions if you like. So that is one option. So again, when you register for the mentorship program, you will have access to all the material of the full stack program, but recorded materials. If you want to have live sessions, then you need to apply for full stack program. And I think I'm not sure about how much of discount they offer, but I think if you apply to full stack and following that we apply for the mentorship program, you might receive a discount from the mentorship program. I hope I answered the question.
Okay, that's a good one. And yeah, so if you have further questions, please email us. We are over time, way over time actually. And we can also schedule short meeting to understand your background. If you're not sure which program you're fit to, we can discuss that in person. I mean, or on short phone call or Zoom call. Great, thank you for being here and staying till now. And looking forward to working with you. Thank you. Have a good day.
Okay, have a nice day. Bye.